Hi, everyone, and welcome to Breez SDK Nodeless. Um, just a quick introduction about me. My name is Antonio, and I'm 20 years old. I'm a student at the Polytechnic of Turin, and I'm a programmer at Breez SDK. I started out developing like web applications in JavaScript/TypeScript back then day, and then I moved on to more service-side stuff and Golang and Rust. Oh, yeah. And then last year, I got into Bitcoin through association in at the Polytechnic. And I went for Bootcamp, so the Task Summit. And shortly afterwards, I was able to land a job at Breez. So here's my link tree if anyone's curious, if anyone wants to reach out. There's also a copy of the presentation in the Telegram group, if you guys want to check it out. Here's just some pictures about Breez and his session. So what about Breez? So who are we? And what's our ethos? What's our character? So the main goal of Breez is to bring a self-custodial and end-to-end solution, easily deployable and easily scalable, open source, and pretty much improve decentralization of funds around the globe. So we pride ourselves pretty much because the interface which we deliver to our clients abstracts many of the complications that you guys may have encountered throughout, like building elements and using a swapper in a much easier step-by-step procedure, right? On how to execute a payment from a receiver to a sender. So let's go a bit on why use our SDK specifically. So the main feature of our SDK is that it's, as I said, effortless to implement, but it doesn't really trade off on security. So users still retain full custody. There's still like full ownership of keys. And there's no KYC, so it's completely frictionless. You don't have to sign up for any service. And yeah, of course, since it's based on Liquid and Bitcoin and sidechains, like layer 2, you don't really have any limitation or regional locking, etc., etc. So it's pretty much just your average Bitcoin/Liquid experience, just very much simplified and doesn't compromise on performance. Okay, so just getting the introduction out of the way because it's like the most frictional part. So this is a list of the supported languages. I didn't know we had these many languages until I had to make a QR code for each and every single one of them. So as you can see here, the main language is Rust because the SDK is actually written in Rust. But we have language bindings via UniFi for Golang, Swift, Python, etc., etc. So as you can see, the main, let's say, target audience for utilizing the SDK is mobile developers. They can either use Java/Kotlin, or it's also Dart, Flutter, C#, etc., etc. So you pick your flavor, and then it can be easily integrated within your mobile applications. There's also WASM. WASM bindings still haven't been fully completed, but it's on the roadmap. I didn't really include it in the presentation as it's not fully finalized, but we're also trying to support WASM in the future as there's no real compatibility issue in the linear path. So let's talk about supported chains. At Breez SDK, like this specific SDK, the Liquid SDK, supports only starting from Liquid outwards to other chains. So as you can see on the Liquid rows and columns, everything is checked out. But if you were, for example, to try and swap between Lightning and Lightning, then this SDK is not for you. No more. Yeah, I think it died.
Fortunately, I think that's the last one. But I think
I could just talk.
Yeah,
Probably.
I think most people can hear you.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so if you're planning to execute transactions between Lightning and Lightning, this SDK is not for you, or across Bitcoin nodes, this is not for you. This SDK was spelled out to be only compatible with liquid to liquid transactions, so direct transactions, or using both, as we explained beforehand. You can also execute lightning to lightning by exchanging liquid for Bitcoin. And the process is as seamless as possible. So the interface is unified so that you specify the type of destination, or the destination itself is parsed by your SDK, and then the payment is forwarded directly to that endpoint based on our internal logic. A few notes. We don't only support address to address like plain liquid addresses. We also support the BIP21s and other standards. So we're not really limited by standardization. And if you want to also obtain support for liquid to liquid exchanges, you can check out our other SDK. We also have another SDK which is called the Greenlight SDK that allows you to do that. So what is the whole point behind the Breez SDK, and why do we think it's a valuable asset to a developer's workflow? It's because usually, as Michael pointed out before, and there are common patterns when building a product on Liquid that requires exchanging a currency, right? So that requires exchanging between chains. So the one basic example, which is actually at the center of the screen, is refund management. So when things go wrong, as he showed you beforehand on the swap tree, there's the case of non-cooperative refunding. And non-cooperative refunding requires some live interaction with the swapper, which can often easily be abstracted into its own separate module. So instead of having every single developer, let's say, developing a WebSocket connection that handles these states gracefully, we abstract all of this into our SDK. So all you have to think about is sending a payment. I mean, if a payment fails, it's automatically resolved as best as we can. Of course, this abstraction has some costs in the sense that things may not necessarily go the way you want. Maybe you want to retry a payment, but it gets refunded before you're able to do so. But in order to keep things as simple, but also as secure as possible, if the payment has indeed failed, we just default to a refund, and you can just try again by creating a new invoice and just requesting a new payment. Other things that are also automated is payment resolution, because as Michael also showed, this is completely based on the Bolt swapper, so it's very deeply linked to the previous presentation. You need to receive certain metadata from bolts in order to completely fulfill the payment. And this process is completely automated by us. You just need to call one method, and all the metadata will be automatically stored and linked to a payment. So you're able to also associate a given swap to a certain liquid transaction. It's all done automatically by the SDK, and you just need to focus on getting the receiver and the sender. One last thing, but it's also pretty complex, and this ties into the technology we learned this morning with LWK, is chain synchronization. So the SDK needs to interact with both the Bitcoin chain and the Liquid chain in order to be synchronized at all times. And this is the main, let's say, this is the main reason why that gives security to transactions. Because if we weren't able to validate the metadata that we receive from bolts onto the chains, we wouldn't be able to verify that they're actually trying to scam us or trying to take our funds. So chain synchronization at all times is another layer that can be abstracted out, and it ensures that everything is valid and Boltz is not sending any, let's say, fake messages or anything. So this is how it works generally. These are the three main payment flows, which weren't really touched in the previous presentation. So I'm just going to give them their proper names. In the first one, we have a Lightning receive flow, which is about paying wallets. This is called a reverse submarine swap. So there are two types: reverse submarine swaps and submarine swaps. One swaps LBTC to BTC, and the other swaps BTC to LBTC. So I'm not going to delve deep into what actually goes on, because this was actually addressed indirectly by the previous presentation. All you have to know is that there's a claim transaction and a lockup transaction. Now, during the receive flow, we broadcast the claim transaction and both broadcast lockup transaction. And with the same logic that you explained before about multi-sig music 2 and the non-cooperative also fallback side, which are both supported by SDK, you're able to receive funds via the swapper. Instead, if we reverse the roles, then when we want to pay someone, we send funds to a node BTC address and they're able to receive on both. So they generate an invoice and we're able to pay that invoice using Liquid, pretty much. Finally, this process can be kind of mirrored, and that's how we can get cross-chain payments between Liquid and Bitcoin. So you can have Alice paying Bob from Liquid to Bitcoin. In this case specifically, you have 2 lockups and 2 claims. So it's kind of a mirrored image of the easy case, which is on Lightning. So Alice would pretty much broadcast a lockup transaction on Liquid. Bob would, the swapper then would broadcast a lockup transaction on Bitcoin, and then each claim transaction is broadcasted on the opposite chain. So then Alice would claim on Bitcoin, Bob claims on Liquid, and at the end of the day, everyone swaps as their funds swapped. So this let's delve deeper into what the actual interface looks like now. So there's 3 simple steps to get a payment up and going. The first one is to connect, of course. So connection doesn't really mean you're connecting to a node because you're not actually doing anything like that. You're just simply importing a private mnemonic or private key, and then let's say starting to sync with the chain. So the first step, yes, is connecting. Then as soon as you're connected and synced, you can start preparing a payment. Why do we need to prepare a payment? Well, usually when somebody wants to execute a payment, we need to be aware of which fees we're going to incur. And this is why we have a confirmation step, so to prepare before you're actually able to create a swap and swap the funds. The available methods when you're intending to prepare a payment, of course, are prepare send, if you want to send funds, prepare receive, but there's also prepare airline URL or prepare refund. Finally, once you've prepared the payment and the user, through some dialogues or maybe through some confirmation, some button, they confirm that they agree with the fees being presented to them, they can move on to the execution phase. And the execution phase is when we actually create a swap and do everything that needs to be done. And the methods for that are send payment, receive payment, airline URL pay, and refund. So it's kind of an easy to understand flow. You first prepare, and then whatever's prefix after that, you execute again, and it just works. So let's move on to more technical details. This may seem like a very simplified abstractions, but there's actually different things going, like running in the background on the SDK in order to make sure that everything happens without flaws. So the first thing that we do when we instantiate a Breez SDK Liquid instance is we connect to a WebSocket. This WebSocket is provided by Bulls, so we connect to their API. And through this WebSocket, we can subscribe to payment updates. So whenever we subscribe to a swap, we give a swap ID, we subscribe to those payment changes, and whenever there's a payment change, we can then react accordingly based on what we need to do. So for example, if it's a created, we might want to lock up funds. If it's a confirmed, we might want to claim funds, etc., etc., etc. If you want all the separate cases for each payment update, you can check the Bolts documentation. We have, like, we saw before in the demo, when he was demoing the receive side, he was listening to both same exact updates. So if you want a specific reference, there's a link on the slides and you can go check it out. So what do we do, man? We receive the update, and then based on what that update is saying, we have to make sure that the payment is secure, so that locking the funds isn't actually going to screw us over. And the way we do that is we verify that the metadata sent back by Bolts is valid, and we persist it. Finally, if all the checks have passed, we move on to locking up these funds. and the lockup allows the swap to continue. So Pulse is able to then claim these funds, and once they claim the funds, we're able to receive on the Bybit side, for example. Finally, once the swap is resolved, we store the payments locally, as I said before, because we also provide the users with the ability to link swaps with payments, which is something that doesn't come out of the box. So usually, when you would pay Lightning to Lightning through this method, through a normal non-Breez SDK application, you would have to handle linking of swap metadata with liquid transactions. The SDK allows you to just skip all of that. It just automatically merges without storing, of course, liquid data, because that can be fetched from chain. Every time you fetch chain data, what it's actually doing is merging that chain data with swap metadata that we store locally in a local cache, so that the user can have a nice UX where they know that this invoice is related to this user and this transaction ID on the liquid chain. So everything is automatically merged together to keep, let's say, data consistency. Then one more thing.
Yeah, and didn't want to interrupt, but I was asked there's like a coffee break that's going to end very soon. So if you guys want to pause in a few minutes and
yeah, I'm just going to explain chain syncing actually, and then there's one last slide that we can skip, I guess. There's going to be the demo after this, so if you guys want to get a more hands-on experience on this, you can. So the last thing when it's is chain syncing. So of course, as I said, chain syncing is the backbone of how reliable payments can be on the Breez SDK. And in order to sync with the chain, we have two instances. One is an Electrum server that is both a Blockstream and our own Electrum instance. And then we have a Store server, which we contact through via HTTP requests. Both of these are supported by LWK. So we use the LWK library to query changes from the chain. And then LWK does its job automatically. It just reorganizes this data and presents an API that we can use and expose to the user. Yes, and then there's also event handlers. So once the SDK receives a payment or is synced, etc., the user will always receive an event that they can react to. So this is especially useful in mobile applications where, for example, you want to have a below screen, or you want a payment confirmation model to pop up. And so you need to hook in two events in order to be able to do that. So this happens when chain sync occurs. Anyway, this was a very quick presentation. I just rattled way through it. I think we can have a break for now. And then I've prepared some binaries that you guys can use to demo, or I prepare a more technical demo for someone who wants to maybe program with the Breez SDK themselves. It's written in Python because I thought it was the most, it has the least harsh, let's just say, syntax barrier of entry. So if someone wants to get their hands dirty, you can clone the Git repository and you can code it yourself, or you can download the binaries or build them from source and have a go at the CLI, which is already built. You just have to test out sending and receiving. It's going to look very similar to LWK CLI, but it's actually going to have starting with it says here, proprio after. Certo.
Computer studies. So I just bring them to trivial unit control. I guess it did be silly. I feel there was already one. So things, but stay right. Maybe this should work. I should wait. And so I said, I need to feature. Say, yes, up to how that one get person play see do it. Again.
Okay, guys. So let's get back to it. The last thing that I'm going to show you is the demo. So I prepared two separate kinds of demos. A more technical demo for the people who want to get their hands dirty, try out some code, try out the Breez SDK as a real developer would experiment it. So in order to try it out,
we were techniques. It's like the one that was the most trouble. That's right. Yeah. Let me see if this one's charged.
Yeah.
This is the only one that really works. Statement testing. Zero. You playing specific. I just don't like care. It's a original note. Then trip. Firstly, they use the office. Fun. Let's follow the breaches with bread spurs. And we would victim. Is it terrorism? Yeah, it's armed. But John seems it's cat. Man attend. That's vielleicht jetzt der
So anyway, as I was saying, there's a more technical demo, and then there's also going to be a practical demo, which I'm going to demonstrate both on the screen, and you can also follow along. There's this QR code. I hope you can scan it from far away. It's linked to some binaries that you can download based on your architecture, or if you want, you can go on the GitHub repo on the slides and build it yourself, and then you can run it. And yeah, things you can do with the practical demonstration template is just fund your node and then try sending funds among each other, test out the features of the SDK. I'm going to show you exactly what you can do. For the guys who are going to be doing the technical demo, there's a main branch, which just has like the bare bones skeleton of what you're supposed to do. And then there's some tasks. And then there's a separate branch for solutions with each commit representing a new step. So what you could do is just write your own solution, try and figure it out. There's on the README, there's documentation references, and there's also an example you can use to get inspiration from. And yeah, once you're done, maybe we can also compare solutions later on if you guys feel like it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the practical demo on.
So, all right, we do get the AK. Strolling the eye. Yeah, we do good. And see, when you can see. Look. She did something. It's really like the first niche. That way.
By the way, do tell me if you can read from the back what's happening.
So the bundling. As that is about it. Exciting. Them Troyans were trees. Pretty good. Yeah, and so clear there's new wire calls us well.
Okay. So if you chose the practical branch, this is what the binary should look like when you first run it. So it's Breez liquid CLI, and it tells you the name of the network you're on. By default, it's on test left, and the binaries I share with you are going to be on testlet. So the first thing you can do is you can help to get the commands that you can run. So of course, there's send payment, to send a payment, receive payment, already for list payments. Then there's some LNURL stuff you can do. You can get info to check your balance. You can back up your node and your swap info, and then you can also restore it. And then yes, just get recommended fees, etc., etc. I'm not gonna walk through each and every one of them because that would be a waste. I just want to show you a little demo of how easy it is to receive a payment and to send a payment in Lightning. So what you would do, so let's just do this as kind of means. And use this. These things, it's wrong. They can repeat that to me, but it is this. Okay. So as you can see here, I have two instances of the Breez SDK, and now we're going to try sending funds. I process it. So what you do is, this one has no funds. So as you can see here, we have, we actually have some funds here, 375 from these sats. So we have a balance. We have a pending balance, which is when the swaps is in progress. So it's going to be your total balance detracted by the balance that's currently being swapped. So there's a pending send, a pending receive. Then there's a wallet fingerprint, which is useful to identify in the working directory which wallet you're currently using. And then there's the pub key for the wallet. So if you want to receive a payment, these are the possible options. So all you have to do is you have to specify a payment method, which can be Lightning, Bitcoin, or Liquid. And then you need to specify how much the peer is going to pay in Satoshi. So for example, if I want to receive a payment on Lightning, and I want to receive, 2,000 sats. Breez. Okay. It's going to first tell me the fees. So in this case, the fees are 52 sats. I have to decide whether or not I accept these fees. Let's say yes. Okay. And it's going to generate a QR code. Now it's a bit big. The font's a bit big. So in small. And this is the invoice that I have to pick. Now if I go on to the other instance and I send payment, specifying invoice, let me show you the full thing. So this is what send payment looks like. You can send payment through an invoice or to an address. Can be either a BIF21 Liquid or Bitcoin address. Or a plain address. So I'm gonna try and pay this invoice now. We're gonna paste this one. But okay. Yes. I give it. There we go. And that's it. We just received and sent Lightning. And so So what happened is this instance now has received some funds. See what's in here? Yes. Had through this some result. That was in the seat. Yeah, as you can see here, if we check the transaction it is, we can put the box three. So, yes. Okay. Yes. So here's the transaction. So it's our positive. As you can see, we sent 250 LBTC to his address. Yeah. So, and then of course the outputs here are confidential. If you want to unblind them, currently the SDK does this by itself by default. So there's no way to get the blinding key out of list payments. You would have to go on check through the cache for a blinding key. But we're planning to also expose this to the list payments call. So right now you can just check the TX ID and verify that the fees match and that the output and that the destination is correct. Then I'll be based in that. So yeah, that's about it. If you want to experiment or if you want to make this more interactive, you can try generating an invoice and I can try paying it for my instance. If anyone wants to share it on the Telegram channel, I can do for it. And I was dealing with the fight. Yeah, who's doing the other demo? Who's doing the practical demo? Is anyone here doing it? Pick up. No. The practical. Sorry, the practical, yeah. Is anyone following along with me here or no? Yeah. Everyone's doing the practical demo. Technical, yeah. Hands up who's doing the technical. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay. And everyone else just watching. Okay, well, If you guys also want to send me an invoice, maybe create it. Actually, I can show you. This testing out an invoice, but it's not generated with the SDK. Right. So this is HTLC.me. It's a service that allows you to send and receive Lightning payments on the web. So you can see, I can request a payment here. Yeah, and then I can pay this invoice with my liquid funds. Then you're understanding that. What is this? So yeah, this is the payment. If I go back here, it should say I received it. So it's as easy as that. You just run one command. You don't care about swaps. You don't care about the inner logic. You just specify which invoice you want to pay and then pay it. Yes. Go ahead. Thus, I was following the technical tutorial steps. Yeah. And it's saying it's having trouble finding the Breez SDK liquid. I'm back in. Oh, yeah. So in order, actually, let me just open it up so I can. Yeah. Oh wait, I guess wrong. Yeah. So if you check the README, you need to have poetry installed in order to run this. So it should yeah. If you go here, there's like one command to install poetry. It's the only dependency. Alternatively, you can run pip install the Breez SDK liquid. What? Poetry is a packet manager. Yes. In this case, it's all dependency. Yes, except poetry tells me you can't find the Breez SDK liquid. But this one, like the Breez SDK liquid dependency, that's weird. That experience is carefully on the storage with the key. That you can install with dip if you like, but it should work out of the box. At least it worked for me. Wait, I wouldn't check it out. Response. You can then this up it. Like that. Down things. I got this today. Yeah. So if I do poetry install, yeah, here it says everything is up to date, but I don't know. Is anyone else got to start bringing it down? 1.8.3. So I didn't have any problem with it, but oh, you don't have problems with poetry? Is anyone who's having problems putting in? I read it's a mag thing. It's the I guess I can tell it's boy page that I just fixed the so I may spoke to actually too. Okay, has been reviewed. How do you do that? By the way, it's just so I have problem this I don't know if you with you. So I just deleted that. Oh, okay, I see. So maybe he has the same problem. I think he's on Mac OS. Then yeah. If you're on Mac OS, make sure you have the latest version or manual. So we're then for gradually. Yeah. I think one thing we can do is go for the solutions together also soon. I'm going to give you a few minutes for the first 2 or 3, which are one-liners. Binge. The best. By you. Used to okay. Yes. Let's boom. Brace about. He is. All the pros. Yes. Yes.
was not have problem proceed. Not having problem to before to install it with the cal. It works? Yeah. No, we fixed the box, I think. And then
It's an issue. So I got it working on Linux distro. The issue was just on that.
Yes, it's we think it's with Brew because Brew has an outdated version of Poetry, and so probably it has an outdated registry, doesn't pull.
Or you don't publish for the view for our maths.
But this is not a published package. This is just a demo, like the practical demo.
But still, that depends. It's IO.
Oh, you're saying it's there's no ARM for.
I have an yes. I want to do that. We could be back. My feedbacks and upgrade. There you go. More you get for ways pay the for future. Not just people you here work.
Oh, and what you saying about him? Yeah, there's. Yeah, there are releases or on.
Yeah.
Okay, this was
Yeah. Yeah, there's macOS Universal, which means it's supported. Has everyone got the init down? The first step?
yes. By the way, I'm also gonna show you the example from the Norwich.
Yeah, the mnemonic is just to make sure that you can connect, right? Then you need to use that mnemonic inside the init function.
Very.
Okay. There's some weakness.
By the way, guys, make sure you go and check out the example because that kind of simplifies everything. There's a lot of things with the example that you can check out.
If there was a problem that I have, I'm successfully install the poetry. I'm gonna do the poetry install. It looks in the log file and it says no dependencies were installed properly.
Okay, that means because you already installed with dip, maybe?
And no, I installed the poetry with the
Yes, but you installed the dependency with one of the dependencies with dip?
no.
Okay. Well, if it says there's no dependencies, that means
But on the other hand,
it doesn't work. Poetry run Python SDK daemon. This command. This should work. Wait.
it erased the example.
The example is I wrote it on the reference here in the README. There's a Python example that you can check out. In Billy, we're stopping at 6, right?
I mean, dinner isn't until 8 and it's here.
Okay, so we'll go. I'll give you a bit of time.
As long as you want.
Yeah, of course, but I think maybe at 6 I'm gonna go through the solutions all over.
There's in a spot. B.
Yeah. Do we need the NVC to the Breez?
No, you don't.
So, some of this.
This version.
I bridge. Yeah. Shell. Sauce.
But the total this make it be such CVC person was so great. Yes, but this consider
CA, UCA, AU, CG. Yeah, CG is just J. It's
so base. Ask teams to do.
this. So still test 6 EDD basically just
Fuck.
fucking up. See, E7 says he up. But hey, I Chich. Or was so how it so is that
Đổ ra thì chi.
but is was evil is a cause. Stop
The community abandoned
Joy have my foot so it's was is seeds.
We still stop.
Execution.
What was the example to yourself?
It's right here. We go to readme.
It's rear me of the a level app, or it's in the this is the actual it's the documentation for the SDK. I'll find an example. There's pretty similar stuff. At least the edit is similar. Everything else is gonna be a little bit more complicated. I'll be a bit surprised if somebody manages to do the last one, because the last one needs some async code in Python to work. At least my solution does. But if you can find another solution, that would be nice.
Nice. Oder das selber Geld auch. Was gesagt you? To the way. So it's really analyze dash and open so it twice. With zero patch. You're successful there. But we pass. They remember. This.
Oh, you said we don't need the API key. Hey. No, you don't. The API key said in that example is because of a newer version of the SDK. If you want, I'll show you the previous commit, which has the version where you're currently on, because that's the late. I give you the example with the latest table. I didn't want to put. Yeah. So if you go here, here's
This. So.
it should be something similar to this. There's no API. Anyway.
So. This. Yeah. The goes.
This.
Ski. Oh. Oh. Easy. Easy. I could be the. Okay. Should it is decisions. It is slack schemes.
What is it?
I didn't literally type a transaction on to receive pairs secret. So I got little satoshis. When I do list payment, I have 3 transactions. It's the same one.
Are you sure? Okay, 3 instructions with the same address.
Yeah. So it's just showing a 3 order.
What about the TX IDs? Are we the same?
No different ones.
Are you sure you ran it once only? Because that would be kind of weird. Check. If you can send the times, if you can send the IDs to me in Telegram, I can check that the timestamp is.
Repeat all the test run.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, try and run it again and see if it becomes 6. Because that kind of doesn't make sense.
Please. It does. CC activity. Us. Radio, yeah.
This O3 is like working translator between Python and Rust.
What is it? It is attacking that here. What is OG? Oh no, Poetry is a package manager. We built a package that can be used on Python with UniFi, the Breez SDK here. Yes, and then you just pull that and you can use. Did it work?
Now I only see 1. We're not sure why.
Now you only see 1? That's weird. I don't know about the, but. By the way, are you reusing the same mnemonic?
Yeah, you see a liquid pop at band.
Yes, but are you using the same mnemonic? Are you using the same mnemonic, the same phrase when you connect to the SDK?
Clear.
Okay, so this same one.
Release.
Give me a step again.
Sus.
Yes, right. I'll say this up by this, but it's actually
The password to get the C.
either buddy.
To get the seed.
It's a seed break. Water break. Can you?
The seed free. Okay, the seed phrase is stored inside the working directory, which is .data by default in the example here. Let me show you. So
Can I see the addition? Peace.
So I kind of hinted out that you have to use this data here data, and inside the data there should be phrase,
Okay.
and that's the phrase that you're using currently. But depending on your application, you can print the mnemonic as well when you get it here. I did a little snippet that you can use.
Please have. Well, like this is no ball.
In that directory, there's everything. There's the LWK cache for transactions. There's the swap history in the storage.sql, and there's the phrase.
Yes.
Sorry. Was it was yes. That positives. But I said, who's in the series? Just wait. That did time me about some more daisy. I said, not me size the quad this raw. Get off as. First zero.
In Jesse Reed,
So Papa is two beds, jots.
I also did that as it says the short test.
I just sit.
was you see or see that directly.
Peace. There's societies you say it or this is that
Alla bolu camera. Kala. Telis. Chile.
be so this kind of
Really? More. Check out if you see the example. There's
I just need to better spend the day great. Bye. I don't know.
Okay. That's so.
Teaching needs to be a Thailand. It's the KD bar.
No. It's a dialect with a mantra over here. It's called Chronite. It's a keywin script.
Has how much round of it is and not a lot when started.
Not a lot. I have a base of 10% around, which would be like 1.5 gigabytes. It's not very good, but yeah, of course, cheap tiling window managers are much better.
And he is getting 6 gigabytes if we're starting.
There's something wrong. Teachers.
That's
Basic years. He's Bob Glory. Sepaya. Let's set the
Spaghetti Japanese did 12. Citric project hit. Chris.
Did anyone manage to at least up to step 3?
Yes. You didn't have to be.
You? Okay, me. That's fast.
But I cannot find the address. I mean, it says regenerate a B21 address audio at Udo is a Swiss player unknown.
But ideas and I cannot
The there's available on patient. But there was playing of fun. Maybe that's communication. Oh yeah. Stat.
So do you guys want a little longer, or should I start going through solutions one by one? At least up to 3. So maybe let's have a go at 4. 10 payment. You don't know? Okay, let's at least get the init and the get info for
Anyone there? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
so for the init. I'm guessing I'm gonna explain this a little bit. All you have to do is, of course, to get the mnemonic. This can be just a plain string, the new fast to instance. Then you have to create a configuration object. This configuration object can come in a default flavor, and you can get this by calling the default config method, or you can create your own and specify each field individually. These fields usually relate to which Electrum URL you use, which Explorer instance you're going to use, things like MBI keys, things like the working directory of the project. In fact, we do set a working directory to a global variable here, .data, etc., etc. And of course, it also specified the network we're on. So if we're on main network testnet, for outside testnet for this demonstration. Then what we do is we build a connect request. So the model of the SDK works as a request response. So every time you want to do an action, you probably are going to use. Is this better? Okay, so in this case, this is what's required to connect to the SDK. All you need is a configuration object, which can be grabbed by from a default. Then we specify which network role, the data directory we want to work in. We create a connect request, and then we insert this request in the connect method. And that's it. We have initialized the SDK, and the SDK automatically starts seeking chain data precisely via LWK in the background, and it also connects to a Vault's status, Vault's payment update stream, let's just call it. So if there are any pending swaps in the background, we can start resolving them or getting their status. Okay, so when we have to get info, this is the second solution. I mean, it's a one-liner, literally a self.instance, which is the instance that we're putting out, and there's the get info man, which returns a get info response. So again, every time you do something, you have a request and you have a response, and it's that simple. Okay, so I'll give you a few more minutes, and then we can also go through the get funding address, which is, by the way, a receive payment for those who did it. They have to call it receive payment. That's a hint.
So you people are gonna you if you like to start and things you got to flop these breaks and options that he has on defaults. That's in model. I don't know that he's some make it. Shouldn't they this and it'll be leave for week some people this thing for around the hands of kid. Oh yeah, that's it for me. We have Dutch tested in of bunch was implementing the templates here.
This is your
It just have Kruger come to me. He could have made it with So, but yeah, I had a wanted this about this which the finding potential to you that I just added just how chat makers is for being while these certain lost as you and very very kind. This is the standard and maybe it's happened. So I can just updating the data manually, listening for events, to get compositors. Can't even search you well. So awesome. Yep. I mean, have you feel okay? Not even 300 lines of code. Some of them are styluses. Going.
How do you work with posting and earning events? Yeah. In the same
This so yeah, we have a transaction approach.
We're bounds. Has anyone done this? Step 3. Maybe somebody wants to share a solution. Potential solution.
Nah. If not, we could see them together in the sun.
Nobody, please. I'll get him down. That's the good admins. Okay. Okay, let's just check it out together, right?
And just because as a tweak, so we see this can text humors when then you get an object which then creates trapped in one. So on the proper distance, object we said we just take it. Is that the possibility that? Is everyone here?
First solution, guys. The way you get a funding address. So getting a funding address is simply executing a receipt, right? So go to receive a payment from a faucet or something. So what we do is we have a prepare request, a prepare receive request, which is an object. We specify the payer amount and the payment method. In this case, we want to receive a liquid payment. So the payment method is going to be liquid address. Then we get a prepare response by calling prepare receive payment with the prepare request. Finally, we use this prepare response and we forward it to the receive payment method. So the receive payment method takes a receive payment request, which takes the response from the prepare. So it's like a chain. You prepare it and then use the response to execute the receive. That ensures that if the user wants to confirm the fees or anything, you can have something in between here, like right here, to check fees, check zero conf, etc., etc., etc. And finally, we return the destination. The destination is going to be a liquid address that we could use on a faucet or anything to get paid. So if you can see if I'm gonna show you. If we test this out,
great. Darkest, but dang
it's all clean this up like this.
So we test this out. Well, this is my phrase. This is my font now. Let's check the destination. Right. If we run this, that's the result that we get, which is a PIM21 URI with the address. Well, the network, first of all. So click with testnet, fed the address that we want to receive to. The asset ID, which is mandatory by standard of PIM21, and it's the asset ID of the LBC. And finally, the amount, which is 1,000 sats.
I'm there.
So yeah, with a 4-line maybe coming into apply, I guess you can receive funds to your wallet. It's pretty straightforward.
I think you're more punk. Yeah, of course. What's the I think their amount is optional. Probably get nervous, but then it's probably in a sense to assess standard test collaboration instead of this is the copy to one intro trailer as I meant from that so that's this goal they go from there to just the page and then boom if I the voice is just done out this and come better right. So that's back. I don't know, I want to tweet that it needs to be fall constantly realized. Here, they did that for test it. If I think it's so done, so it all gets this like bestness, but kind of you that was occasion goals, choose that one, you can see. Okay, man, fashion, in specs, things, fuck you that. Guess like a few more minutes, I will also do the set case. And actually, the wait for payment is the most interesting one because I think it really reflects what a real world scenario, real world use case on the SDK would be. This method is actually asynchronous. As you can see, there's a little end. It's not a synchronous method, and it requires channels in Python to, I guess, properly implement. And it's interesting because usually when you would use this in an actual mobile app or in an application in general, you kind of have one part of the code that needs to communicate with this background thread, right, for events. So usually you want to react to events, and the way you do that is by using asynchronous code and channels to share code between them. So you would have this method that awaits a certain event and then reacts accordingly. So yeah, once we get to that, I'll show you like a more complex but real world use case. Yes, again. It's a little bit. Solution. I did. Heated. See what thing.
I say what instead of opposite you to see a bit informed.
I'm just funding the others from next thing.
Send my address be.
Yeah, of course. You want me to pay you?
Yeah, just as huge
Or in stores. Burger? Yeah.
I got in the shrink.
Yeah, I think it's done this I'm doing the straight version. So you can go to the
10,000. That's a lot.
okay. Sure on which.
Go ahead, start. I'll do it for the CLI, but it's the same thing.
The bit.
So this is how you do it on CLI, by the way. A Breez rate is to a liquid address boat.
So
250 cents, please. Yes.
I worse.
The derivative. Based in case you receive, yeah. Like.
So again.
Yeah, but I think we can. Is anyone still trying the payment? The send payment? Or should I go ahead? They took some. How much? So this is the first solution. Sending a payment and they get 4 lights. Right? Maybe 5. Very similar to prepare receipt. You prepare send request object with an amount destination. The destination can be is a string, and it could be a lightning address, a liquid if21, or liquid address. Or it can be a lightning address, or it can be a Bitcoin address. So you create this object, you prepare send payment with this object with the prepare send request, and then you send payment with response with the prepared auth. That executes the bet. Pretty straightforward. Do you have any questions about this? Or any suggestions maybe? Do you think the code looks complicated or it can be improved?
Instead.
All right. I guess I'll wait a few minutes, but since this one takes a while, I'll just share the solution. I'll go through each step. Bits.
I have appreciated that the crib response styles. I've actually the other one the G. I think that this has for information about the thing.
Yes.
It's the same thing that the response is just that.
No, yeah. If you want, I can show you the code through the CLI. It's open source. That's everything is on the repository. So like here, for instance, just don't mind the other sub. And if we go to main, commands, but I can go to send payment. Right. So, okay. So here's the command on the CLI for send payment. So what we do is we have a destination that we pass it a string and we parse it. So for each event, like we have lightning, it becomes lightning method, etc., etc., etc. Then we prepare the payment. So prepare send payment with the prepare send request. And then we have it's a macro, but what it does, it asks the user for confirmation. So it tells you the fees, and it tells you, are the fees acceptable? This is the code that's running on the application.
And this is exactly what we think the use case for prepare is. This is why we need a prefer statement. Technically, you could also flatten everything and just not show the user like we did in the here. Here, we're not showing the user any confirmation. We're just proceeding with the payment straight away. But I think it's important to let the user know you're going to pay those fees on top of what you're already paying.
So,
we just send us the 1,000 cents there. And the user says no, it just stops the execution. Actually, it's like if I try this and I don't know, payment halted. We have to thank the Swapper guys and the LWK guys for making this, because it's all thanks to them that it's this direct and simple.
and so that. So,
Stepped.
So I'm going to move on with the last one.
don't go. Out. This.
So here's a real world scenario of what you would have to do to get events, at least in Python. It's a bit complex, but so the first thing you want to do, like this is a scenario where we want to receive a payment, and then we want to create a listener that checks on chain whether we received the payment to web address, and then finally returns us with some data. So what we do is we get a funding address. This is one of them that's been before, you receive the payment, and then we prompt the user with please pay this destination. Probably we're going to forward this BIF21 to the sender, right? And then we call wait for payment. We await this call. Now this wait for payment is a two-line method actually, but just takes but resolves a promise. So it waits for another part of the code to be like, hey, here's a message, and then it resolves. So all we do is we wait for response from this background thread, and then we instantiate the listener here. So when we create the SDK in the init, we have a listener. This listener is another class, a separate class, but it's a method on event. This on event method is what happens, what is the function that occurs, that runs when we receive an event. So the on event method simply receives the events, checks if the event is like a payment succeeded event. It could also be a payment failed event. It could be a synced event, etc., etc. It checks that the TXID is there, and then it, let's say, sends this TXID back to the other thread, the other part of the code, which would be the wait for payment. And once the wait for payment receives this message from the thread, then it continues with the execution and it reacts some way. So the real life flow of this would be, for example, I have a listener in the background that needs to show models on a mobile application. So when I receive a payment, I want the user to get like a pop-up, like we just received a payment. So what you do is you would make a listener that sends a message to another part of the code saying, hey, you just got a payment succeeded. And then the other part of the code reacts by showing the pop-up of the notification. It's a notification system pretty much, and it works with events. In Python, it looks a little bit convoluted. In other languages, it's easier to spawn threads, etc. But this pretty much works. If you want to go on this little page. So
Okay.
oh yeah, I have to kill a mnemonic. Okay. So it says, please stay 1,000 sats to this destination.
So
That would
get this. I can here. Now, if I extend endings, the sender confirms the payment. Looks okay. And now, here, exactly, we get this event, payment state pending. So we detected that there was an on-chain payment to our address. And we wait for confirmation of the lookup. So after the send. So that we're going to check each pin sending. By the way, we also get other events like sync, etc. So I'm just bringing this up. We have to wait for confirmation. There's the send that we just executed. Okay, so that's one confirmation. So, yeah, I wanted syncs again. Should they should exit on my. Very. So we got another payment state complete, and once we get the complete event, the frame resolves, and that's it. The program exits. How we get the KXID, which is the same as this. It's just acceptance function. So yeah, does anyone have any questions about this? Does it look complicated, or is it a bit? Yeah, competitive split link. It's already there. Just it's on another branch, solutions, and there's every solution has a commit, so you can check on. Access, because yeah, go ahead and get that balance. This thing might put then something wrong, but you didn't get the balances in. Are you using? Make sure you're using the same melodic, by the way. Yeah. That's fine. I send you the fonts and you didn't get them. Weird. Seems like okay, but I keep the previous one as they changed. Try again. Maybe send me another reference. Well, actually, I can actually check things. They got a history here. What's so we use them here? See, and choose this, and then through this go up at EA, yeah, non because instead and the other side. God, crazy payment, some big thing, how to commit and good on we did same copy for random resist prevalence. So what? Sport systems about tool sets. Hey, I miss my guy. This tool, yeah, spends yell and kingle. Yeah, it's the T formers. So yeah, so this is the transaction ID of your and the one missions. And if you go to the hey, this shouldn't think I'm grabbing by now. Yeah, 13 confirmations. And well, I cannot get the binding keys. Actually, I can show you here. You can also get payments through Acquisition payments. I get a center. Don't be the hotel type one. Let's try it. Gone after the giant movements. Doing like inside the funding. But they will have been waiting. He's got it's a bit like that. And yeah, they substitute and we have eventually as subject work to McLean is the moon to the damage is transfer damages Yeah. This upload. That engine. So it's hard.
Yeah, I cannot really get the blinding keys, but this is the transaction we earn.
I was kind of first.
Where?
But you like to try see as profession. And so that's best well the game. So it's a way that
Technically, it's always the same. The mnemonic is the same, but the resulting connection is kind of the same. Like that,
definitely
should always use the same.
and to the start like just come how you went. I think it's about example here.
And yeah, that's it. By the way, guys. I hope at least it was a little bit forward. So,
Thank you.
I think so. I mean.